you've come to the ring again at a very exciting time in this division, not least because Tyson Fury is back in town. Is this something the heavyweight division needed, would you say, Tony?
I mean, everybody who can bring audience and good stories is good, because at the end of the day, boxing is entertainment.
Yeah. And I presume you see him coming through the challenge that Makhmudov will present, but you see him coming through it.
I see him win, because Makhmudov we saw against
David Allen.
David Allen. We saw him against Caballero. We saw him against Guido Vianello. He was tough before, but he's not that tough anymore.
What is your view of what is next for Alexander Usyk? He is back, but not back against an opponent that we might have expected. He's going in against former kickboxing champion Rico Verhoeven at the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Can a former kickboxing champion topple Usyk?
No. First of all, I want to say that I'm okay with that fight. Because,
Are you?
Yeah. Usyk deserved it. He deserved to fight anybody he wants, because he beats 2 times Fury, twice Joshua, twice Dubois. Who else you want him to beat, you know? He beat everybody in England, so he deserved to have a fight, an entertainment fight. The only problem we have is the fact that the WBC belt is involved.
Right, but you view this as an entertainment
fight. That's an entertainment fight. The same way Ngannou fought Fury. That's cool. That's cool for boxing. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
That's been our argument, hasn't it? That is exactly what we're saying. Look, from the entertainment factor, give it to Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Give it to Usyk. He deserves that. Yeah. You know, whatever it is, and people will watch it if they choose to watch it. That's great. We've seen that with Floyd Mayweather in the past, etc. I understand it. The WBC allowing a guy that's had one professional boxing match back in 2014, not great, not acceptable for you guys who are working your backsides off to get that opportunity, and he jumps the queue because of what? What's the reasoning?
Well, you're not having it, are you? You and Spencer the other day in Talk Boxing were quite outspoken about it. As a result of that, Verhoeven was going to join us today, but the man who trains him, Peter Fury, said not so fast.
Yeah, but that's pitiful, isn't it? When you look at a WBC belt and you look at the names that have held it, and you go back into the 60s and you look at Sonny Liston, Muhammad Ali, you go into the 70s, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Larry Holmes, you go into the 80s, Mike Tyson, you go into the 90s, Lennox Lewis, you go into the 2000s, and you look at Vitaly Klitschko and Alexander Usyk and obviously our own Tyson Fury, and you go, this is a legacy belt. How can it not be beyond criticism if you're going to shoehorn in a kickboxer to fight for a legacy belt? And the fact that Peter Fury won't come on a show and talk about it just tells you the weakness of their own arguments. It's not unfair. It's not unfair to say, what is this? This is poor. Alexander Usyk can fight who he wants, but the WBC strap shouldn't be involved. And
do you agree with that, Tony?
Yeah, I agree with that. He should fight like anybody he wants. He have the right to deserve it. But I think like WBC belt, as you said, have a legacy.
I mean, it's interesting to hear your view on that, Tony, because Lawrence Okoli is #1 with the WBC. He's in that position where so you're going to get a high ranking if you come through that one. It must be frustrating to see that you can be jumped. The queue can be jumped like that. You go, hold a minute.
Yeah, definitely with someone that I think I will knock out in like 2 rounds, you know. So of course.
Have you ever sparred Rico before?
Never. No. I've seen his fight in Glory, and he's great. But I've seen his fight in boxing, and I don't think he's that good.
Is he of the standard that would validate him boxing for the WBC title? Because I've not seen him fight. But all I know is that he's had one fight. No, I'd say, is he at that level where he should have that opportunity?
Definitely not.
I mean, again, I suppose the tragedy of the argument is that no one would have ever picked Ngannou to have potentially stopped Tyson Fury. And most people think that he would have lost that fight. It's not about who he's fighting. I do think there's a morality behind it, because I do think Alexander was very big about the opportunity that Anthony Joshua gave him to fight for a belt, and it catapulted him into other things. So there's people like Caballero that have been waiting around for 18 months that really should be fighting for this belt now. Yeah. And if they want to go and make a bundle of money off these sort of crossover fights, then by all means, but let other fighters...
It's more about the ranking system, and that's what it is. And the ranking system is there for a reason.
This is why sometimes we're criticizing the UFC nanoids, but they're good. You know, the contender always fight the champion.
Right. Other fights excite us, Tony, though. I mean, Fabio Worldley goes in against Daniel Dubois very soon. Yeah. I presume you rate these two highly.
Of course. Of course, that's a big match. That's a big match. Everybody wants to see it.
Who wins it?
I think Daniel's going to win it. I mean, I need to see Fabio in a tough fight. You know, it's for me to see Fabio world champion is a surprise. Because like 2 years ago, he wasn't in that kind of position. But he have won every fight he did. But I need to see him against like a tough opposition. His last fight against Parker, the stoppage was, I think, a little bit too soon. So I need to see against Dubois.
We finish off our chat on the subject of boxing with Spencer and Simon on the subject of the IBF Cruiserweight champion Jai Opetaia. Wow, what a wrecking ball he is. He will face Brandon Glanton for the Zuffa Boxing Cruiserweight World title at the Meta Apex in Las Vegas. But Opetaia's been talking about this highly controversial move, leaving Matchroom and joining Zuffa. And he explained to us here in talkSPORT why he's done it, and in the process had a little nibble at Eddie Hearn.
Eddie Hearn, he's not my mate. Like, we don't go hanging out and go to the pub together, and bro, it's fully professional. You know what I mean? Like, and it just shows, you know, I've signed this Zuffa Boxing to better myself, better my family, chase my dreams. You know, how many times I make it clear how I wanted an undisputed, you know, I'm chasing the belts, nothing happened, you know, like, and then I signed with him and he's just nothing but bad, you know, like just talking badly, you know, trying to drag me through the mud. So it's crazy, you know, he even wanted me to fight one of his fighters. Like, what? Like, how does that make sense? You couldn't get me a title fight, but the second I leave, you wanted me to give your fighter a title fight. Doesn't. But anyways, it is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm staying on my track. You know what I mean? I'm moving at my pace, you know, and these boys are moving with me, so let's go.
Well, you can watch that full interview on the talkSPORT YouTube channel right now, Top Boxing YouTube channel right now. Simon, Spencer, they're all lining up to have a little nibble at Eddie, are they not? Conor Benn, Jai Opetaia.
Well, it's business, isn't it? And I think that Zuffa Boxing are trying to make moves, and, you know, they're going to be moving at a fast pace. They're signing up fighters rapidly. Jai Opetaia is one of those fighters. And like Jai says, to be fair, and, you know, I have a little bit of a relationship with him, so I understand where he's coming from. He's been trying to get this undisputed cruiserweight title fights for a long, long time. And those opportunities have not presented themselves. So he's gone to Zuffa Boxing to hopefully create those opportunities. So look, it's the game, it's the business, you know, and I think that Eddie Hearn understands that as well, and that's what it is.
Do you think Simon is going to get better opportunities with Zuffa?
Get more money. How's he going to? I mean, he can't get Zudo Ramirez in a ring. I mean, Eddie Hearn would have tried to get him in the ring. There's no reason not to get it in the ring, but Zudo Ramirez seems to want to fight David Benavidez. And really and truly, Jai Opetaia is very clear. He is the real deal in his division. But he's not going to be given the opportunities because the guy that holds the other belts doesn't want to fight him.
But I think that on the flip side of that, Zuffa Boxing, which is Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White, they have the resources to be able to make that fight happen. And
they would have always
ultimately, it's prize fighting, and if there's enough money on the table, trust me, Ramirez fights.
And that's right, but they would have always had that opportunity. Now, if there was a concerted plan to take, there probably is, to take the best fighters from Eddie Hearn, in the same way that Eddie Hearn would have a concerted plan to try and take the best fighters from another promoter. Let's be clear, he had a concerted plan to take Ben Whittaker from Ben Shalom, and he did. So it's the nature of the beast. Eddie will get on with it. He'll understand it. I don't think Conor Benn had a nibble at Eddie Hearn. I think Eddie Hearn had a nibble at him, suggesting he owed him more loyalty and that all he wanted was a brief phone call. I'm willing to wager you when Conor Benn told Eddie Hearn that he was leaving, it wasn't a polite reaction that he got from Eddie Hearn. It probably was a nuclear reaction, which is probably why Conor didn't phone him.
So how long is it going to take for Zuffa belts to gain credibility?
Well, $1 million question, isn't it? I think, look, the Zuffa belt is going to take a long time to gain credibility because you've got your WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, even the IBO. You go like, look, they are the belts that carry prestige. You know, they carry merit. And I think that to come along now with the Zuffa Boxing belt, you know, the fighters, as they're growing up, they want to, you know, that is the dream, to capture one of those, the green and gold belt, the WBC, you know, love or hate it, you know, what we think about the politics behind that belt.
It'll be helped by the WBC doing things like Alexander Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven. That'll help them establish some credibility. But that'll give them some currency in terms of what the value really looks like for fighting for WBC belts.
But what I will say, Jim, is
it'd be nice to speak to
what I will say is,
tell his flaky manager then.
Yeah.
Weakling.
But what I will say, Jim, is that Zuffa Boxing, the Zuffa Boxing belt, will become relevant because I think they have the power to do that, and I think I think they'll move at a very fast pace. But it will become relevant.
They can get the top fighters. And the interesting thing is how's it worked out for the golfers? How's it worked out, this lucrative land that's been funded by Middle Eastern money? It's got them going, but where do they want to, they've still got the slams, they've still got the major events, they've not been able to destroy and divide and disrupt. So we'll see if they can buy enough of the fighters, they can buy enough of the real top-end fighters that influence them, move the dial, then it will be.
Why did you not say yes to a fortune to be an ambassador out in Saudi?
Because I don't feel the necessity to carry other people's views. I think it would have compromised whatever value I have. I enjoy doing the media for what I think, for what it's worth.
Do you?
I don't have to say things that other people suggest I have to say.
Yeah.
And if I do that, the first thing that people are going to say is, where's your integrity? The same as everybody else.
We enjoy having you in the media.
Jim, also, I think that was a silly question, really, because when you've got a guy like Simon Jordan who's got an immense amount of money anyway, I mean, how much money do you want? And I think that's probably the reason why he said no.
What a very good point.
You never have too much money, mate, I can show you.
It's all the principles, isn't it?
Yes.